The parties draw their lines in the sand. The broadcast begins in 10 seconds. WDBC Internet Television is on. I am an avatar for Michael P. Borgia. The broadcast, originating from deep behind enemy lines, is brought to you by dailyborg.com. Conservative politics for the thoughtful. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. Something important happened this week that we have not seen in this nation in 4 long years. Senate Democrats have finally released a budget outline. Of course they did so under threat of having their paychecks withheld if they did not. House Republicans released their budget on Tuesday. They could not be more starkly different. Since neither budget has any chance of passing, what they represent is not a plan, but a manifesto. A defining vision of each party. And Americans have not seen so stark a difference between Republicans and Democrats since the days of the abolitionist movement. The two sides and their own vision when the broadcast continues in a moment.
I didn't see you come in.
Yeah, most people don't.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm depression, and I've come for you.
I'm not depressed.
Oh, you're not? What about schizophrenia?
No.
Anxiety disorders?
Uh-uh.
Eating or mood disorders?
No and no.
Oh, my mistake. It's next Tuesday that you lose your job and your boyfriend leaves you.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
This week, perhaps for the first time in memory, both parties have plainly stated what it is they stand for. Senate Democrats and House Republicans have each put out on paper a vision for what the government will look like 10 years from now. Each party has made its statements on spending, taxing, saving entitlements, Obamacare and the national debt. Kristen Jones is here to look at each aspect of the two parties' spending and taxation plans.
Michael, thank you. First, let's take a look at taxation. House Republicans have proposed maintaining the status quo on taxes in their 10-year plan authored by Representative Paul Ryan. This is a bit surprising in that this means retaining the higher rates enacted at the beginning of the year. That does not mean, however, that Republicans are opposed to a massive reimagination of the entire tax system. Democrats, already giddy at having enacted one tax hike, are back at the table demanding more. Their budget, authored by Senator Patty Murray, calls for up to $1 trillion in new revenue. Democrats, meanwhile, have offered little in the way of true tax reform. Michael, what do the spending plans look like?
The Senate budget would see the continuing expansion of the federal budget over the next 10 years. By 2023, the federal budget would increase by nearly 65% in the Democrats' vision, taking federal spending close to $6 trillion per year by that time. Republicans have put forward a far later plan, which limits growth to essentially the rate of inflation plus population growth. Spending would still increase under Republicans, just not nearly so fast. How do these plans impact the federal debt and annual budget deficit, Kristen?
If you take the amount of tax revenue collected and subtract from it the amount of money the government spends, and you get a positive outcome, that's a budget surplus, something that has only happened 5 times since man landed on the moon. Since that time, we've had as many popes as we've had balanced budgets. Under Barack Obama, for the first time in history, we've run deficits that amount into the trillions of dollars. That deficit is made up for by borrowing money, which in turn is added to the national debt. Under the Democratic plan, deficits will continue every year. They may shrink for a time, but only if overly optimistic forecasts of growth turn out to be true. But after 2016, deficits will explode again, largely fueled by Obamacare and Medicare. The Republican plan will balance the budget at the end of 10 years. No more new debt or deficits.
Entitlements are the 800-pound gorilla in the budget. Medicare has now passed both Social Security and defense to become the largest line item in the federal budget. It is on pace to go bankrupt in less than 10 years. The Democratic plan does nothing to prevent it. It does not raise the eligibility age or means test the program. The Republican plan does both. Other than the burgeoning elderly population, the biggest thief to the biggest entitlement is Obamacare. Republicans propose simply to do away with Obamacare, as it is both unviable and unaffordable. The Democrats obviously look at Obamacare as a legacy item for their party, as Medicare and Social Security are. The Republicans see them as ticking time bombs, ready to destroy our prosperity and our liberty. These budget proposals clearly highlight those trains of thought.
The bottom line for Democrats is that balancing the budget and stemming the tide of red ink is not a priority for them. The Senate Democratic budget is a blueprint for continuing to expand the dependency society, create more dependencies and trap more people in those dependencies. This creates a continuously growing class of voters that are wholly dependent upon the Democratic Party for their very lives.
The Republicans have proposed a budget that builds upon the Opportunity Society. It gets the government out of the way and allows the people to begin to assert the economic might of the private sector, while leaving the social safety net intact. It acknowledges that the safety net has to change, because we as a society have changed. We live longer and healthier than we have before, and we must account for that if we are to preserve them for our children and not saddle them with a society that is slowly growing bankrupt.
The Republican budget shows they know we're facing an existential crisis. The Democrats have made clear that not only do they insist upon business as usual, but that they are ready to put business as usual on steroids. Republicans have a plan to balance the budget and end the tide of red ink in 10 years' time. Democrats have made it clear that they don't care about stopping the red ink. They're too busy buying votes and creating dependency. The president himself is on the record saying that ending deficits is not priority for him. Republicans have put forth a plan to ferment opportunity while preserving the safety net for those who need it. For Democrats, it's about debt-fueled dependency, no matter what the cost or consequences.
Thanks, Kristen. Two parties. Two distinct visions. Not since Democrats defended slavery in the 1850s while Republicans fought for freedom have the two parties offered us more stark choices. Today the two parties stand for much the same thing. Democrats offer us the slavery of dependency, while Republicans offer the new abolitionist movement of the Opportunity Society. Which side will win out? It's up to you now. We'll be back with closing thoughts when the broadcast continues in a moment.
Hi, I'm Leon the Lightning Lion, here to tell you, when thunder roars, go indoors. Thunder is loud, but lightning is dangerous and can hurt you even before it rains. When you hear thunder, go indoors quickly. Head for a house, school, or large building. If you're caught outdoors, get in a car, truck, or bus. Never go under a tree. Stay off telephones, computers, and video games. Remember, play it safe. When thunder roars, go indoors. Brought to you by these partners in lightning protection and lightning safety.
Engine.
Check.
Thrusters.
Check.
Fuel.
Check.
Computers.
Check.
Social Security.
No check, go direct.
That's right, Patty. A few weeks ago, I went online to godirect.org to sign up for direct deposit. It's easy to do, and I got my cash at warp speed.
Wow, it's fast and easy. I'll sign up right now to make sure I'm prepared for our next mission.
It's sometimes hard to figure out President Obama and what his priorities are. On Tuesday, he met with House Republicans and made an astonishing statement. When asked why America's government can't do what American families must with their budgets, he replied that we are not a family. On Tuesday, a new pope was elected. Leaders from around the world are traveling on short notice to attend his installation mass. Barack Obama will not be among them. Instead, he is sending Joe Biden, a man one normally sends not to celebrations, but to funerals. One could not imagine a greater insult to a new pope. But then when I wonder, will I stop being surprised at the gall of Barack Obama? Each time I think he's reached rock bottom, he finds a way to sink lower and lower. You have been assimilated.